Hello, my Stampin' friends. I'm Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com, and today's video is a little bit different. You may have heard about some exciting changes that are happening at Stampin' Up! Over the next several months. You might be thrilled about the changes. You might be feeling a little apprehensive. I hope after today's video, you will feel a little more at ease because I want to kind of go over everything that's happening. So, full transparency before we even get started. When I heard about these changes, some things I heard and I went, yeah, I'm good with that. Other things I went, sad face, not feeling so positive about it. But let me tell you, I've had some time to think about it, process it, figure out how this change is going to affect me. And, I have kind of changed my tune. I hope after I share today, you're going to feel the same way. So let's start with the first change at Stampin' Up, and that is in Stampin Write Markers. These are the Stampin' Write Markers Stampin' Up has had for years and years. I have loved these. I truly have. But when Stampin' Up came out with Stampin' Blends, well, I had a new love in my life. I truly love the Stampin' Blends. Since then, I really have not used my Stampin' Write markers as much. And guess what? Stampin' Up has noticed that in sales as well. We have all fallen in love with the beauty of the Stampin' Blends, the options that we have with those. And they've seen a decline in the purchase of the Stampin' Write markers. With that, Stampin' Up has decided to discontinue the classic Stampin' Write markers. I know many of you love these. And like I said, I love them for years too. But if you want to continue to use your Stampin' Write markers, they are still, at least at the time of the recording of this video, they are all still available. So you can get the collection of the Regals, Neutrals, Brights, and Subtles. You can get that. You can get them in an individual family, Regals, Subtles, Brights, Subtles, and then the in colors for 2024, 2026, and 2025, 2027. So those are still available. If you're in the United States and you'd like to check those out, I'm going to have a link for you down in the description where you can check those out. And hopefully they are still there waiting for you. So with that, that is one change that is coming. Now, one of the biggest techniques we used with our Stampin' Write markers was a technique that we did ink to rubber, direct to rubber. And that was on Stampin' Up's cling rubber stamps, right? The red rubber. All right. So as you know, Stampin' Up has always offered either a stamp set in the cling red rubber or in the clear photopolymer. I got to tell you, I'm a photopolymer girl. Okay. I love photopolymer stamps. Again, I told you guys at the beginning, full transparency, when I would place an order and I'd get my stamp set and I'd see cling and the red rubber, I'd go, oh, I got to put the stickers on it. And I'm not always great about getting it on super straight. And sometimes when I use the cling rubber, I hit the edge. Okay. Anyone else dealing with these same things? Stampin' Up, beginning in November 2025, you're going to start to see a decline in the cling red rubber stamps. Now, I know for some of you, red rubber is your favorite. You absolutely love it. I get that, but times they are a-changing. And we're going to talk about some of those changes and why Stampin' Up has made the choice to allow the red rubber to phase out. Let's talk about the big one, rubber itself. Friends, I have known for many, many, many years that red rubber was getting more and more difficult to get. And I talked to Stampin' Up once about it, and they said, oh, yes, we're like stockpiling rubber. Again, this was years ago. And of course, now with changes in the tariffs and things, it is causing the red rubber to be more expensive because of those tariffs. Not getting into anything political, friends, catch a bubble. We're not doing that. All right. But the fact is that products like the red rubber, our stamps are made in the United States, by the way, but the rubber has to come from another country. And that is getting just more and more expensive, difficult to get. And of course, the tariffs keep the price up even more. Now, if you can go back Go back to when Stampin' Up would offer a stamp set in cling or photopolymer. You had a chance to order which one you wanted. Do you guys remember that? You remember the cling stamps were more expensive. The red rubber stamps were more expensive versus the photopolymer. So photopolymer is also a lower cost to you, the consumer. We love that. And Stampin' Up really wants to keep their prices as low as possible. Something else you might not know about red rubber. When Stampin' Up makes the red rubber stamps, they come out on this huge sheet, right? And there's, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 stamp sets on one of these big sheets. And they cut them and put them in the little packaging. And then they end up on in our happy stamp room, right? Well, if there was a mistake on that red rubber, something didn't go right, it can't be recycled. Let me stop there. I shouldn't. Stampin' Up has a way that they can recycle it, but it is officially trash at that point. Where with photopolymer stamps, if they run photopolymer stamps and something goes wrong, the photopolymer can be melted and used again. Now, we're not going to get all into it, but Stampin' Up did have some really amazing ways that they would take that leftover red rubber and that they could recycle it. They would use it in playgrounds, shred it and have it in playgrounds, all kinds of different things. But that was one of the issues that you could run into with red rubber. Another thing that you might not know about red rubber stamps is that when they are made, Stampin' Up has to have a big steel plate for those stamps to be made on. Well, guess what else is getting very difficult to source these days? If you've heard in the news, steel is becoming a difficult thing to get here in the United States. So with that, all those things, and probably the number one thing, friends, the industry is changing. You've probably noticed it. The industry is going towards the photopolymer. That's just the way rubber stamps are being made more today. So all of these things. And let me also say this, Stampin' Up, I've been with Stampin' Up for 22 years, and I have never seen them just jump into a decision. They do their research, and then they research some more, and then they test, and then they research some more. And I have no doubt that with this change, they have been doing their research for quite some time. So those are the changes with red rubber. Okay, let's talk about when and how these changes are going to take place. Beginning with the November 2025 online exclusives, all right now we're just going to talk online exclusives. Those are going to all be in photopolymer only, all right? We're not going to see cling stamps. Are cling stamps going away right this second or starting November? No, because the annual catalog and the September through December mini catalog do have the cling red rubber stamps in them, and they will continue to be in those catalogs. So the mini catalog will end at the very beginning of January. So when those are gone, this catalog will end at the end of April. So as long as the stamps continue to be available, those are always going to be, if it says it's in cling red rubber, it's going to be in cling red rubber. But when the January through April 2026 catalog comes out, those will all be in the cling stamps. When the next annual catalog comes out in May of 2026, that is when everything has been transitioned to photopolymer. Now we are ready to talk about some changes in packaging. Okay, friends. So this one hit me right here in the heart. Okay. This one was a little bit difficult for me because I love the DVD style case that our stamps come in. And, I have them on my shelf. We have the great little image there on the side. And there were so many things I absolutely love about those cases. And when I heard about the changes, I was a little sad. Guess what? I changed my tune. I did a little research of my own. And I took what is going to be the new packaging and kind of played with it. And suddenly I went, I'm not so sad anymore. Okay, several reasons. Let's go ahead. I want to show you what the new packaging is going to look like. All right, friends, here is a picture of the packaging that Stampin' Up! Will be transitioning to for the photopolymer stamps and the Stampin' Up! Dies. Now, you guys are familiar with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss dies and that type of packaging. Let me flip this over and show you the back of the packaging. So you see, it is a little bit different than the packaging that we have now. They did a little work on making the packaging much easier to open and close. I think that's going to be a huge plus for us. I hope you can see by this picture that now the stamp set packaging and the die packaging are the same size. Now, they are a tad bigger than what we've had in the past. Currently, like most of our dies come in about a 5x7. Like our stamp sets are about a 5x7, our DVD style case. The new cases will be a 5x5/8 or 5 and 5/8 by 9 inches. So they're going to be a little bit taller and just a smidge wider. Here's a quick visual for you. I just cut a piece of cardstock so you could easily see. This is going to be the new size of the packaging for the photopolymer stamps and the dies. All right, they're going to be the same. So let me just kind of hold it up to one of our stamp cases. Guys, that's almost exactly. So really, I said this was 5x7. It must be a little bit bigger because that is a 5x5 and 8. And then you see we have about another 2 inches up at the top. So let me tell you what this is going to be very helpful for. You know, many times we have an image of the stamps on the front cover. This one, they probably are shown at 100%. But stamp sets that have a lot more stamp sets, it can be a little bit difficult for them to show you those stamps 100%. With this larger packaging, and you saw that image there on the photo, you're going to hopefully see those stamps at 100%. Again, I want to be very clear. I can't guarantee you that for everything, but if possible, Stampin' Up! Wants to give you those 100%. Now, there's something else maybe you noticed with the die set. Did you notice those dies had a picture of the dies? This is how our dies look right now. It's just got a lot of words on it. I don't know about you. I'd much rather have a picture of the dies because how many of you have found that lonely die and you go, oh no, what does this go to? Well, this new packaging, you will be able to see the picture of the stamps and you will be able to see a picture of the dies. It's going to make your life so sweet. This also means you're going to be able to store your stamps and your dies together. All right. It's going to be so helpful to you when you have those stored right next to each other, right? No more trying to figure out, does this have a die set? Does it not? You're going to have them and you're going to be able to store them together. I know some people like to store their dies in the DVD style case. Can I tell you, I was always worried that the die might cut into my stamps. And so that always worried me a little bit. But having them both in that package is going to be wonderful. Now, here's the part I was sad about, but stick with me. I loved my little image here on the side because this is how I store all of my stamps, just like this. So I go over and I'm looking at the little spine. Now, my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. That's really little. And so that was the part I was really sad about. I was like, oh, but I love to store my dies on their sides and see that spine. So rather than get mad, I decided, let's see what this is going to be like. So I'm going to move really quickly over to storage of the new stamps and dies. So I know many of you are wondering, how will I store these now? Friends, how many of you have a million plastic shoe boxes? Look at this. They fit great in these shoe boxes. And I think you can see, pardon that little noise there, how many more stamps you'll be able to fit when they're no longer in these thicker cases. So that's going to be a space-saving thing. But I want to show you something because it doesn't mean we're getting rid of these. Many of us still have a lot of these. Well, you know what? They fit perfect in there as well. So you can store your dies right next to the case. Many of you ask how I store my stamps and my dies. I know everyone does it differently. Some of you like to alphabetize. I love that. I'm more of a visual person. I like all my flowers and nature together. I love all my animals and birds and insects all together. I like my sentiments and greeting sets all together. So this is one of those, obviously, I say you do you. Everyone has a little bit different preference. But these little plastic shoe boxes, which they are not an expensive thing, it's going to be a great way to start storing your current stamps and the new packaging. And just because I want to promise you a visual, you do see they are going to be a little bit bigger. All right. Okay. So we now have a great storage solution. And this is where I said I was a little sad about losing the images there on the side. But I put this together the other day just to kind of get a feel of how I was going to do this. And friends, when I started to flip through like this, I went, this is so much easier. So my anger, it went away. And I was very happy that when I just kind of said, okay, I'm not going to get upset about it. Let's see. Stampin' Up! Has done their research. So now it's time for me to do mine. How is this going to affect me? I found this solution to be fantastic. I'm ready to embrace this new way of storing my stamps, especially knowing that I can still put the DVD style cases in with the new envelope storage. Again, we're talking space saving. We're talking less plastic. That's a good thing as well. Now, we're going to talk about one more thing, and that is either you love the DVD cases and you still want them, or you really love those envelopes and you want more. Okay. Stampin' Up! Will be offering the envelopes. All right. They will be offering the envelopes. All right. Just empty, of course. They'll be offering those as well. So if you want to invest in more of those, maybe you want to convert some of your stamp sets over to those will be available in packages of 10. If you love the DVD style case, Stampin' Up! Sells those as well. They are available only in the online store. You're not going to find those in the catalog, but if you'll just search stamp cases, you'll see them. They come in a set of 4, and you'll be able to purchase those as well. I'm going to be, again, very transparent. Stampin' Up! Has said we'll continue to offer these style cases as long as there's still desire for them. They're still seeing sales for them. If they see that, it's just not something that is selling much, which means it's, taking up space that we could bring in new products, they may be moving those on. So if you love those DVD style cases, consider adding 1 or 2 packages to your order each time, and start to do that if you want to convert from the envelope. But can I just say, guys, give these a chance. Again, I'm telling you from the one who went, no, I went and put this little shoebox together just to see what it would be like. And I went, yeah, I kind of love it. So with that, I just encourage you to give this a try. But remember, you will be able to get extras of the clear envelopes and extra empty of the stamp cases as well. Friends, thank you for being here and just kind of hearing my heart and my thoughts on these changes. I definitely do not try to sugarcoat things for you because, as I said, I was a little sad. And once I just kind of created something that I felt was going to work for me, suddenly I had a happy face again. I hope the same is going to be true for you. Let's give this a chance. And I really do truly believe that once you have this in your hands and you get to using it this way, I really think you're going to have a change of heart as well. All right, friends, that is what I have to share with you today. I appreciate you giving me your time. Have a great day, and I look forward to stamping with you on the next video. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.